Happy Friday. How are you guys? Let us know in the comments how you're doing. How are your birds doing? What are you seeing most at your yard? Love to hear from you in the comments. Let us know what's happening at your yards. I see I didn't update my comment here. I know feeder cleaning is done with, but we still have our avian artistry class, and our second one is coming up here shortly on the 24th on a Friday evening. It's going to be here at this store. This is such a great program. Oh, I didn't bring my drawing to show you guys again. Maybe I'll go grab it real quick, so just hold on one second. Yeah, okay, here we go. So you guys remember our first class was pencil sketching, and I'm going to show you my before. Don't make fun of me too hard, my 5-second turkey drawing. So I did a world of a difference after her class. This was the actual art that I made in class. I just cut the extra paper that we were using to fit in this really cool display. But I mean, I think it's a great job. I'm really impressed with how it turned out, and I'm really excited for our this month's class to do the inks. And then the following class in November, we have watercolors at Dottie's Art Studio. And then the following week month in December, we have our class on acrylics. Now, this is class you can still partake in. You can still sign up for the avian artistry classes. You go here on our website. If you go to our website on our events, or if you go on Facebook and hit the avian artistry event, you'll see a link to sign up. You can also call Dottie's Studio direct to ask any questions or wanting to sign up, things like that. But definitely sign up. It's so much fun. We had a blast doing this, and I'm really excited to see how our skills improve after a second class. So really excited for this. Again, the next one is happening October 24th, 6 to 8 p.m. here at Wild Birds Unlimited. All right, so I'd love to see you there. It's going to be a great time, so definitely check it out. Another thing I want to talk about real quick before we get going is our partnership with the Will County Forest Preserve. They have some awesome bird merch. If you haven't seen it already, they have a really great promotion running just for the partnership with Wild Birds Unlimited. If you go on their website, that's that outsiderthreads.com, and you shop with them and you put in this promo code here, WildBirds15, it gives you 15% off of any kind of order. Now, if you do qualify for a larger order and one of their other promotions, it will automatically bump your 15% up to either 20% off or 25% off, just depending on what your threshold is. All right, but check it out and be a bird nerd. Wear it with pride, because that's awesome. And you know, you're not alone in being a bird nerd. There's plenty of us that are like that. All right. So just wanted to remind you that that's still happening. There's no expiration on this as that we know of. Also happening in the store while things are lasting, we have 30% off of all of our fall items and Halloween items. So a lot of the maybe I'll start this way, the pumpkins and even art poles and our fall Halloween themed flags and mat mates are all on sale too. It also includes door decor and tabletop decor and things like that. Some of our fall themed garden spinners and stakes, those are all on sale, 30% off too while supplies last. Again, this is in-store only. We don't have many of these items on our online shop anyway, so make sure you come in and take advantage of it. Don't forget, it's October, which means it's bird food sale month, and through the 15th, everyone gets 15% off their bird food sales. Of course, if you're a special Daily Savings Club member, you get special savings such as 5% extra off of all of our sale prices. And you not only get it through the 15th, you get it for the entire month. So you get a lot of extra savings in the month of October, especially if you're a Daily Savings Club member. So definitely check that out. Come by the store. You can even do it online and qualify for all those discounts, and we can ship it out to you or deliver it to you. So tonight we're talking a lot of good things. We're talking about caching, what's happening in your backyard, some really cool behaviors. There are some also new faces that are starting to show up under feeders. So we're going to talk about who you should be looking for soon. But I want to always start off with my events. Don't forget, tomorrow at 11 o'clock, we have an in-store presentation presented by our great friend Andrew at Good Steward Ecoscapes. He's coming to talk all about monarchs, from ecology and migration all the way to conservation. So if you are like us and love to create habitat for not only the birds but the butterflies in our backyards, and want to learn more about these incredible insects, this is a place to be and to listen in on that. Again, it's recommended you call the store to reserve your seat, but if you just want to show up, that's totally okay too. We always invite everyone to join us. So that's happening at 11 o'clock tomorrow. The following week is the week of the 18th. We have two events happening on the 18th. The first one is in the morning. It's 8 to 10 a.m. And that is in conjunction, our partnership with the Will County Audubon Society. So that's the Will County chapter of the Illinois Audubon Society. And some of their members will be coming here to show how to photograph birds at your feeders. So I think that's going to be a really exciting presentation. They have done this in the past. So if you were there last time or weren't able to make it last time, this is the time to come. Definitely bring whatever camera you have, whether that's a really fancy one or something just middle of the road, or even your phone. Bring them by, because they're going to be doing a actual trial. Like, you're going to actually be physically taking photos at the feeders here at the store outside. So be sure you dress for the weather and come and check that out. We do we're asking for you to register for that so we know how many people are coming, and that's just by simply calling the store and let us know that you're coming. All right, should be really, really fun. The other thing happening on the 18th is I'm presenting on squirrels, feed them or defeat them. So if you want to learn how to squirrel-proof feeders, or you're kind of on the fence and don't mind those critters running around and having fun in your yard, they're super entertaining. But if you're somewhere in between, this is a great presentation for all of wherever you land on that spectrum. This is the presentation for you. It's going to talk about everything about what kind of squirrels we have in Illinois, what kind of squirrels we have here in Will County, and of course we'll give you tips on how to squirrel-proof your feeders, or if you want to feed them too, we have that option as well. So that is the presentation for you. It's good for everyone from beginners to experienced bird feeders. So if you're a hobbyist and you want to participate, again, recommended to call the store. It's not required, but we definitely recommend it if you for sure want a seat at this presentation. All right. Of course, you can go on our website and check out all the events that we have scheduled for October. I don't have all of our stuff up for November, but we also have some really cool things coming up in November. So be sure to keep checking and seeing what's new there. Couple new things have come in. You might notice them behind me. We've gotten in some new beautiful bronze colored cranes, and they are in a large size, and they are also in a smaller size. I have a couple different styles. Some of them have their wings up, some of them have their wings down. They are absolutely stunning, and they are our statement piece in any yard for sure. But definitely come check them out. They're here. They're brand new. We just got them in today. But they're going to be they're going to be hanging out for winter, as they make great backyard gifts for Christmas and the holidays. So definitely keep those in mind. If you have someone in mind that loves birds and loves their outdoors, they make great statement pieces in the backyard, okay? Another new thing that we've gotten in is Winter Blend has arrived. So it's back in stock. We have it in both the cylinder form and we have it in the bag form. Now I know it does come in a large cylinder form, but I think we only have gotten the smalls in right now. But don't worry, the larges will be coming in probably by next weekend. All right, but why Winter Blend? What is it? What makes it so special? Well, let me tell you, Winter Blend is a wonderful mix. And essentially, as it says, it's providing that essential fat and energy for winter survival. All right, and I just love all the great ingredients in there. I don't know if you see all those nuts and all those sunflower seeds, but I'll give you the ingredient list just so you're aware. Lots of sunflower chips, pecans, tree nuts, bark butter bits, roasted peanuts, rendered stew. Those are the bark butter bits, right? Those and a little bit of natural safflower is in here. So that's that close cousin of safflower, but it has a little bit more fat content in it. That's why they put it in this mix. Now, why do we provide something different potentially for seasonally? Well, that's called being seasonally savvy, guys. So just like when we brought in nesting blend, that is for a specific time of year where birds need certain things in addition to their diet to take care of seasonal needs. So in nesting season time, we're ramping up rearing, getting ready for babies or having babies, or taking care of those young chicks, but also helping mom and dad by providing all the essentials that they need during that time of year. Winter Blend, on the other hand, is for helping birds survive winter. So all the challenges that winter throws at them, Winter Blend is there to provide all the things that they need to be essentials, right? So whether that is that it's cold or it's long periods of darkness, Chicago gets about average of 14.5 hours of darkness during winter, which is an extremely long time for birds to have to sustain their fat reserves until they can replenish them. So that's where Winter Blend comes in, because it's going to give them all the necessities that they need to do that. In fact, in winter, some songbirds can use up to 75% of their fat reserves just trying to survive, right? Those cold nights. So access to the reliable feeders and with providing high fat, high energy foods is going to really help them survive, but not only just survive, they're going to thrive in your yard because you're providing for the things that they need every time of the year, all right? So another thing to note is, because I know we just started to hit the cooler weather, and there's no guaranteeing what's going to happen in a month, or let alone a week, on the weather. But let me just say that even though we may have a warm winter, that's still this is still a necessity, because birds still have to deal with long periods of darkness, right? They can't forage for food when it's dark. So this is going to help sustain them until the morning hits, and then they can go back out and forage. All right, so definitely check out Winter Blend. It's here. This makes great offerings for the food, and birds just can't get enough of it. It's a great blend to use. I absolutely love it. I'm so happy it is back, guys. Yeah, so definitely come by for this. This is also will be 15% off, or +5 if you're in Daily Savings Club during our bird food sale. So it's a great time to stock up on some Winter Blend while the weather is starting to change, all right? A couple other things that are happening. I know I showed off our cranes. We talked about Winter Blend, but I also want to talk a little bit about caching. What is caching? Why do birds do it? And how we can help during that time. Well, what is caching? First, caching is essentially where birds hide food for later use. So an example of some birds that do this are chickadees. Those are your nuthatches, blue jays, will all cache food. Now, not all birds do caching. Some birds do not do caching. But birds that do caching are essentially taking that food that you find perhaps out in nature, but perhaps find at your feeders, and they're storing it away in nooks and crannies, such as crevices in your trees or maybe in the siding of your shingles, for later use. So they're hiding it now to use later in winter when food is scarce. Count of hands. Put your hand up. Put a emoji hand up in the comments, or type in here if you are starting to see some slowdown at the feeders. If that's your case, if that's happening with you, that's not to be alarmed. That is completely natural this time of year. Couple things are happening, right? Natural food is in abundance right now. But also, birds are preparing by caching. They're preparing for winter by caching. So we just see a little bit of a dip at feeders because birds are out doing the natural thing. Now, it doesn't mean that they're not checking up on your feeders. Remember that GPS map we talked about last week, where birds are putting in memory your GPS locations in their brain so that they can remember later in the winter when times are lean for natural food. They know that they can count on you. They know they have a mental map of all the feeder locations that are providing for them. So they're checking in. They're looking at your feeder and saying, oh, yeah, they're taking care of me. They're going to be having some food out when the times are tough. I know I can rely on them. So can birds rely on you? I think that they can. I'm sure many of you are providing for them, are doing the things that are inviting for them to be prepared for when times are lean. So why they do it? They're hiding it for later use. We can see this action. In fact, I had recently witnessed some nuthatches doing this. They were going to my feeder, taking peanuts from my peanut piece feeder and taking it up to a tree, and I was watching them hide those nuts into the tree bark. It's absolutely the coolest behavior if you've never seen it before. So take a look, keep an eye out, and watch those birds perform some really fun behaviors right in front of your eyes this season. So we talked about what it is and why they do it. I want to talk a little bit about like the actual how. Believe it or not, the birds that cache have a really cool thing that happens to them. So their brains, in fact, a specific part of their brain called the hippocampus, that part of the brain is responsible for memory. So in winter or fall, in preparation for winter, certain birds like chickadees, for example, their brain, their hippocampus, it actually grows. It grows so that they can remember more locations of where they hide food while they're caching. It's pretty incredible, right? What if we could do that, right? If you could extend your memory longer, what would you use your memory? A bigger hippocampus. What would you use that for? Let us know in the comments. I would love to hear your answer for that. But that hippocampus grows so they can remember all those spots. And that is a pretty unique trait because, squirrels, they hide food too. They hoard, they cache food, but they don't have a hippocampus that grows in the winter, so they can't remember anything. They have about a 5-second memory span, and they rely mostly on smell to find the food that they have hid in the past. Whereas birds are incredible, we know, and they actually grow their brains to remember locations. That's pretty fascinating, right? How can we help them? And there's a couple things that we can do to help birds during caching season as they prepare for winter. A couple things include providing food that is cacheable. So such as WBU seed blends like Winter Blend or Tree Nutty or any of your other favorite seed blends are going to be great options for them because they're going to be able to hide those seeds for later use. Other things that I really recommend are like bark butter bits, those little suet balls, right? They make great food to prepare for winter. Again, birds need to stock on fat and energy. In fact, fat and that energy is the highest concentrated form of energy birds can have. So when they have a lot of high fat foods in their diet, meaning more increased calories, calorie diet, they actually have more energy to survive winter. In fact, if birds do not have a high-fat diet and they deplete that fat reserves, they actually start burning muscle. So it's no good for birds in winter, especially if they have to not have a great diet, because it will actually start losing important muscle mass. So help your birds out. Offer great foods like bark butter bits, peanuts, great WBU seed blends. I love offering more and more peanuts this time of year. So peanuts out of the shell or peanuts in the shell make great offerings, because peanuts are not only high in fat and high in protein, but they have tons of energy in them too, and they make great caching food. So definitely offer that. I have a couple of feeders here to show you what I like to put those type of foods like peanuts in to offer them to my birds. So first, let's talk about those whole peanuts. What do we use for peanuts that are in the shell, right? So everyone knows probably my peanut wreath, right? The peanut wreath is pretty popular, especially since the Forest Preserve's Trailblazer a couple years ago, they had a mission where you had to find a peanut wreath feeder. And many of you came to the store because you knew that I had one out on my side yard in our feeder area. So that is a great feeder to use. It's easy to fill, easy to use. Another great feeder option for peanuts in the shell is our peanut hut feeder. So similar to that peanut ring where you're putting in the peanuts, whole peanuts in there, this one you simply lift the lid, pull them in there, and yes, all sorts of different birds are going to be able to either cling and grab out peanuts and hold them in here. So great offering. Now remember, sometimes when you're first offering peanuts, you don't see the peanuts start to go away, and you've been wondering, no, it's been out there for a couple of weeks, what's going on? Are the peanuts not being eaten? Now, I thought that one time too, and I went out there and I looked, and in fact, every single one of those peanut shells were empty because I had little woodpeckers, chickadees, and nuthatches breaking that shell and pulling out the peanut. They left me all their garbage. So I had to clean out all those peanut shells and replace them with new peanuts. But just to be mindful that when you're first starting out, until you get some bigger birds that are able to carry out a whole peanut in the shell, like blue jays, for example, will take out multiple peanuts at a time and cache them far away. So they're pretty incredible too. But some of the smaller birds won't actually take the whole peanut out of the shell and take off with it. They'll actually shuck the shell right there and take the little peanut piece out and then fly away with that delicious morsel. But they're not actually taking the shell, the garbage from you. So be mindful that if you're putting out peanuts for the first time, it's something to look for, because it's kind of a cool behavior that birds do, that some take the whole shell, some leave you the garbage. It's kind of the trick of the draw. Other things that I like to offer is those peanut pieces this time of year, because peanut pieces are an easy thing for birds to either eat on the spot or cache. And there are a couple of feeders that you could use for that. Now this one is this is the tried and true peanut feeder. It comes in one other size. This is the mesh peanut feeder. And like any of our other quick clean bottoms, this one too has that replaceable, quick, easy to take out bottom, where it makes it really easy to clean. It also makes it really easy to fill if you like to fill from the bottom. Okay, so love this one. If you need a larger style, we do have one that's a larger mesh tube feeder. This one might be familiar to you if you are DSC, because you may have gotten this little cute peanut piece feeder from us as one of our renewal gifts. We gave that one out, I think, last year as our renewal gift. But they come in a couple different colors. This makes a great, easy little peanut feeder. If you have never fed peanuts before, I highly encourage you to. It is totally a game changer, and you see so many birds take advantage of peanuts. And it's super easy to fill this one. I just take out one of the handle pieces, and then it pops open the lid. Then you can pour in your food, you replace the lid, and then you just line up that hole on this side where where this handler is going to go, and you put it back in. And voila, we're back in business, ready to hang it up. Now another feeder that's really great for peanut pieces and also bark butter bits, or a combination of the two. And a really cute feeder is this new mushroom feeder that we have just gotten in this year. This is a great feeder. Again, it has this a little lid on here that locks it. Oh, my chain is kind of caught up in this tie. So we can open it up, and it's really easy to load up, and you can load up quite a decent amount of peanuts and or bark butter bits in here. And as you can see, all the way on the bottom, birds are able to cling and access those little morsels of food, however, whatever you're offering. Well, this chain and this tag do not want to get along. In any case, it's super easy, and they will cling to the bottom like this to get any of those pieces that are up there too. So really cute feeder. I absolutely love this one. It's the year of the mushroom, if you hadn't heard, but these make great little gifts, but they also make great caching opportunity feeders that are seasonally fun. All right. Now, another thing I want to talk about is comes with caching and winter, getting prepared for winter, is what kind of winter visitors we're going to see. Right? I have this sign. It was up for a little bit. And this is talking all about caching now, dining later. Help your birds stock up for the season before winter comes. So that's here, right? But this is the sign I'm looking for. Welcome in those winter visitors. So we had a pretty cool opportunity yesterday. I had a really big meeting with, it was a Midwest regional meeting. So all the stores, Wild Birds Unlimited stores that are in the Midwest. So we got to see a lot of our sister stores and things that are our friends at, let's say, Palos Park or Lisle or Arlington Heights, Springfield even stores that are in Ohio came. So that was a really great time, and we got to learn and share some ideas on how to make our stores even better for you. But one of the cool things that happened the day before is they had the opportunity to do a bird outing, and they did some bird banding. And guess who showed up? The dark-eyed junco was actually one of the first birds that they actually got to band, which is really exciting, because these birds right here are actually our token snowbirds. So they're a great sign that winter is actually on its way when you see them, because they only arrive here in Illinois in winter. And I just can't believe it that they are already spotted. So it's worth to take a look out at your feeders and look for them out and about. Now, typically, I would say about 65% of the time, you're going to find these guys out at your feeders, underneath the feeders, on the ground. They spend majority of their time hopping on the ground, looking for seeds and things like that on the ground. So it's best to offer food in, per se, a tray feeder, whether it's hanging or actually on the ground, and providing food such as Niger seed, just like the finches, right? Sunflower chips, and even white millet are some of their favorites. All right. They will also eat bark butter bits, so keep that in mind as well. But who are the other visitors, you might be asking? Well, the two down here are some great sparrows to keep your eyes out for. In fact, they also spotted, I think, the white-throated sparrow. That's this guy over here. You can tell because he has that token white throat on him. And again, the immatures or even females, where the white is on these birds is going to be kind of a tan color. It's going to be a tan color with like a dark brown instead of the black and white pattern. But the pattern will be the same. So keep an eye out for that kind of white or tan chin and this kind of white and black pattern on the top. They do also have that little white or yellow mark by their eye. So keep your eyes out for that. Also, keep your eye out for this guy. This guy is the white crowned sparrow. Again, they often frequent our feeders on the ground or with the local house sparrow flock. And again, they're immatures, the juveniles, or the females even will have that pattern, similar to this guy, will have that pattern of dark brown and tan colored instead of the white and black as it's shown here. All right. Has anyone seen this guy though? The red-breasted nuthatch. That's the close cousin of our all year round nuthatch, the white-breasted nuthatch. But the red-breasted nuthatch looks a little bit different. Although their structure, how they kind of hang out on the trees, is very similar. Even their call is a little similar. But they definitely look a little bit different, and these guys are a little bit smaller than your typical white-breasted nuthatch. So, in fact, this is an eruption year, meaning that we might be getting more birds than we typically would during a winter season. So, typical winter season, we get the usual crew. We might get some the juncos, we'll get the white-throated sparrow, the white-crowned sparrow. There are a few others in there that we probably will get almost 100% of the time. Now, occasionally, we don't get some visitors, such as the red-breasted nuthatch, such as the pine siskins, such as purple finches. Those guys only come down from the boreal forest if the boreal forest does not produce enough food. So if the cones don't produce enough cone seeds or cone nuts, then these birds need to go further south than they normally would in winter to find food. So this year, in fact, is an eruption year, meaning the boreal forest is not producing as much food as it should, and they are going to come down and visit us. So we should see not only our normal crew, but some other visitors along with it. So it should be a really, really exciting winter season, but it's important that you provide the things that they need to be able to have a wonderful, not only survival winter, but they're going to have a thriving winter, because your yard is going to be the habitat that helps them survive, thrive, and have a wonderful winter in your backyard, because you're going to provide all the things they need. You're going to provide the food that they need that's going to be high-fat, high-calorie foods. You're going to provide water, such as unfrozen water in the form of maybe using a heated bird bath or a de-icer. You're going to provide shelter by providing those brush piles or that evergreen that's native to your yard. You're going to provide shelter in the form of nesting boxes or roosting boxes so they can seek shelter in cold nights. You're also going to find a lot of birds just finding all their needs met and hanging out more in your yard. Let your yard be the place to be for the birds, and you're going to have so much more fun enjoying seeing all sorts of winter behaviors, a whole bunch of winter preparation behaviors. You're going to have so much fun. All right, I'm telling you this because I know how much fun winter can be, even if it's just looking outside your window. You don't have to be outside to enjoy the birds outside. Enjoy them from the comfort of your own home through the window, and bring them closer with using food, feeders, and shelter so that you can witness all the fun right from your own window for winter. I'm clearly having a really hard time speaking today. I don't know what's wrong with me. But we do hope to see you tomorrow. Don't forget, tomorrow we have our presentation on monarchs, ecology, migration, and conservation. You can learn all of the good stuff there. I know Andrew also has a few shrubs that are great for wildlife that are native to our area that will be at a steeply discounted price. So if you would like to take advantage of that, definitely stop by for those items. Don't forget our 2 events happening on the 18th. I'm presenting on squirrels, feed them or defeat them, at 11. And in the morning, 8 to 10 a.m., we have that in-store workshop where it's going to be outside on learning on how to photograph birds right at your feeders. All right, don't forget, in store we have our bird food sale, but we also have a 30% off of all of our fall and Halloween decor, including art poles, mat mates, and flags, and more. So please stop by for that. And of course, we love to hear from you. So in the comments, let us know, what are you seeing at your feeders right now? What are you not seeing at your feeders anymore? And hopefully we see you next time. If you have any questions, leave them in the comments. You know I always respond right after the live or shortly after. All right, you guys have a wonderful weekend, and we'll see you next time. Bye now.